Hey, it's Catherine from Moonstarlodge, your Indigenous divination advisor in Central Ontario. I'm in a weird mood this week, but before I get into that, I'd like to ask you to, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't yet already, please subscribe. We do a weekly video for a 7-day period. Obviously that's a week, and we issue it usually on Sunday at noon, the day before, so you have a chance to have a look. I bring a lot of our Indigenous teachings on the moon cycles and new moon and full moon into these readings, and it's important for me to share. So let's go ahead and have a look at the cards. So, I've not used this combination of cards before. We have the medicine cards, which I pull out from the smaller deck, usually a dotem or two. The Deviant Moon Tarot, which speaks to my sense of feeling weird this week. The Oracle of the Radiant Sun, which I think in the past two and a bit years I've only ever used one other time. And a brand new to me Lenormand called the Maléfique Lenormand by Needman or Neidman. My apologies if I've said it wrong. So let me just move these out of the way and we'll have a look at what the cards say. I'm not doing the medicine wheel this week. I'm just, as I say, this is weird. So our significator card is the Page of Cups in reverse. And this fellow speaks to looking for inspiration in the arts and creativity, lovingness, and also for the connection to these things via his or her intuition. But when it's in protection like this, it says to me, this inspiration hasn't come yet, and it might be a little bit of a fight to get to that place. So some mindfulness techniques, meditation, a walk in the woods if the weather works for that, something, even yoga, just going down to the beach and sniffing the air and looking at the water, getting in those ozone molecules. But this speaks volumes. It's clarified by the moon card. And the moon card is about intuition and connecting to source. And this moon cycle is wisdom keeper. So we're, in the third quarter of this moon cycle by the time this reading comes out. But this is also the card of illusion. So I think our page is feeling the effects of this full moon. And I know that that's part of the reason I feel really weird. I've not had such a bad headache with a full moon as I had with this last one. With the energies of the earth waking up, being so wild and pressure filled and frenetic, I find that the energies put me off kilter. So I think that's what the page is feeling here. So as you think about what you're looking to do creatively from an intuitive perspective, just make sure that you're dealing with the reality and not the illusion that the moon can bring. So make sure you're in a mindful place. The Queen of Swords in reverse. That's sometimes being overly sharp. She's a queen that typically represents a mature woman, often a widow, who normally is very sharp and worldly wise. But it doesn't have to be a woman, and it's not a gender-specific thing. But there may be someone like this, or this may be the attributes yourself, where because you're in a place of off balance, you try to align yourself with sharper thinking. So it's like the pendulum has swung from your right brain, which is off kilter, way too far into the left brain. So that's a balance thing. It's clarified by Fox. Fox is often thought to be somebody who's sly and manipulative and deceitful, but it can also have the positive attribute of being very aware and very co-creative. It's a quick thinking messenger. So quick thinking is a better balance than being nasty. So moving here, this says to me that some of what is happening, this is the actual Ten of Swords in this deck. So the end of a cycle of destructive and fearful thinking, it's done. It's time that these swords get pulled out, and you know that that cycle has ended. It's a cross that you've been bearing, and so you need to let it go. The King of Cups emerges. The lovingness, the completion, family, connection, friends, source, and the tree is what clarifies it. Tree in Lenormand is health, foundation, solidity. In shamanic culture, I look at the tree as the place we go to journey into our mindfulness. So mindfulness will get us out of the fear place and out of the destructive element of the Ten of Swords and bring us to the same qualities of the King of Cups. So the emotion is in balance here where it wasn't here. So there's interesting hall markers. The Six of Cups is a Punch and Judy show. Six of Cups always talks about nostalgia and childhood memories, that sort of thing, fond memories. And it's clarified here by book. The minute I pulled this card, I thought journaling. So some of what gets this imbalance is actually journaling as opposed to reading a book. You may have old journals that you wish to source to reflect on past events and where it's brought you. They say that people are doomed to repeat mistakes if they forget their history. So I'm very clear that you're reviewing here and getting the imbalance shifted to a place of balance. What that brings by the end of the week is the prosperity of the Empress, the goodness of the earth, the goodness of all things in your life in balance, and the bouquet of flowers says, yes, that's a gift from Spirit. Now, the animal totems and the astrology. The animal totem is Coyote, Coyote Trickster. The card says, explore the present chaos, see life's honor, let go and laugh, welcome the unexpected. Nothing is more protective than coyote or wolf when its pack or family members are being threatened. But there's nothing sillier than watching a coyote or a wolf pup tripping over its own feet, chasing a lemming, or a mouse in a field. They're very playful. So the dichotomy present by coyote is let go of your hypervigilance here, your anxiety, you're trying to control something, and just laugh and let things happen. Let it move through you. We need to experience our emotions, not bypass them. But the perspective that laughter gives us is a lot better perspective than anger, fear, and separation. So coyote is a totem for the week, and so is turkey. Turkey says, let go and give away the past. Share your gifts with generosity. Feel the freedom gained. And that's a wonderful card. So that speaks exactly to the king and letting go of this past here. Astrologically, I'm just going to go right to the book for these. This one is the card number 2 is resistance. It shows Taurus. Let me go, and I'm actually going to just simply read this to you because it's important. So our number 2 card. If I can find it. Yes, here we go. Often this card, when it appears in a reading, denotes a need to focus on financial thinking and can be an indication that the questioner must look at accounting, economics, or business advice. Alternatively, it may denote work in travel, transport, or the media. So Mercury, here on the left, represents chance, and Taurus represents very earthy material values. So that's resistance. The other card here, number 9, is principle. So let me find principle. This book is divided up very, very differently than so it's going to take me a minute. Okay, when this card, principle, appears in a reading, it will raise a matter of principle or life philosophy that is particularly related to the question, because we have Jupiter here, that's gain, and Sagittarius, which is optimism and adventure. So the gain relates to the financial gain, and be careful of resistance. This is the card for the sort of the beginning of the week. And resistance speaks to resisting in part because it's financial resources, that sort of thing. The endeavor you're trying to create is going to materialize into something very positive as long as you're not resisting the message. So be careful of that amount of resistance. Here is your gain. Here is your prosperity. Principle, our principles and our ethos isn't created in a place of mental chaos or spiritual chaos. In fact, it's only when we are clear and only when we are feeling that what's coming is from a place of Gnostic consciousness. So that isn't this card. That's everything literally. This is the chaos and the being out of balance on this side, and this is the way of right relationship on this side. You can flip the camera, Brian. So you never know what you're going to get, what kind of reading you're going to get here. And I have to go with what Spirit directs me. In fact, I had a whole different set of cards pulled, and I said to Brian, I need you to give me arm's length question from Spirit. Is this the right reading for this week? I said, because it just doesn't feel right. And he doused and he said, yeah, you're right. It's not right. So we literally tore down that whole setup, went and got completely different cards. So anyway, I trust this gives you some insight, and I look forward to coming to you again. The short readings are always on Instagram for Wednesdays and the weekend. And drop me a line, drop me a comment. I love comments. Comments help me to, if you're questioning a deck or you're looking for resources, by all means drop a comment, and I can be working toward that and answer your questions. And we're building our subscription, so the subscription will be levels that include just, donating a coffee, once a month to me, or the tarot teachings and videos that won't be on YouTube. And then we're looking at indigenous teachings, shamanism, right up through psychospiritual development and consciousness, regression, those sorts of things. So every level adds some teachings, and people who go to the higher levels get everything from the levels below. So it's a win-win. It's a lot less expensive for our students, but a lot more stable here for us as we continue to move forward. So subscribe, hit that like button, and we'll see you soon. Aho.